This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick BMW, and Burdick Lexus postgame show. Call in now on the Tom and Ellie DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644. Here are your hosts, Brian Higgins and Eric Dungy.
Just Brian Higgins with you here today as we roll along here on our postgame coverage. Glad to have you in as always. Syracuse are winners today over UConn. Man, it feels like they won by either 30 or not. Man, they win by 7, 31-24. Second straight week, a dominant performance comes down to surviving an onside kick at the end, but the Orange do that. 8-3 here in Fran Brown year one. So you like that. 8-3 here in Fran Brown year one. Kyle McCord into the record books. He has set the Syracuse single-season passing yardage record. And today, nearly set the Syracuse single-game passing yardage record. Moves into number 2 on that list, throwing for 470, a career high, even including his time at Ohio State. First time McCord has been over 400 yards in his career. Still one touchdown away from a solo possession of the single-season Syracuse touchdown record. He threw touchdown passes number 25 and 26 of his Syracuse season and career to tie himself again with Ryan Nassib's 2012 season. So all of those things, and should go down next week. Plus, he is right knocking on the doorstep now. Likely, I mean, it could be a first-quarter situation based on his recent first quarters of getting to 4,000 yards this season, which, again, would be the first person to do that in Syracuse history. All right, here's the plan. Here's the game plan here for our post-game coverage. We got a lot of stuff. We'll have the Fran Brown press conference live right here when it happens, so do stay tuned for that, be it on the radio or QSportsTalk.com or the Q Sports Talk YouTube page, live on all those things. Our DWITom.com hotline is available at 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. So give a ring throughout our time together today. We'll set the table at some point for next week. Miami was in a bit of a tussle there for a while with Wake Forest. They pulled away and ran away and hid in the second half. So next week in the Dome, we got a game with stakes, certainly for Miami. The Canes will come in at 10-1. They need to win next week to make the ACC championship game. SMU won earlier today, securing their spot in the ACC championship game in their first year. They still have not lost an ACC game ever. If Miami wins, they'll make it to Charlotte for the ACC title game next week. If Syracuse wins next week, they'll beat Miami. First time they play Miami in the Dome since 2002. First time hosting Miami in the ACC. Freaking nuts. It's only their second ACC game ever against Miami. B, it'll be a 9th regular season win, joining 2018 and 2021 of seasons that did that here this century. And C, it will knock Miami out of the ACC title game and said Clemson in their place. So it'll be SMU against either Miami or Clemson in a couple weeks' time from Charlotte for the ACC championship. So there we are. Orange sitting on 8. Bowl game potential rising of where they're going to go. Bowl game temperature likely rising of where they're going to go. So lots to like from today. Syracuse, man, you talk about a game they only won by 7. They blew it out and only won it by 7 at the same time. Syracuse today outgained Connecticut 538 yards to 352. They had them doubled up for most of the game. UConn's last drive kind of undid that. Never really in danger of losing the game, but man, it felt like they should have put it away. Kicking issues came up again. I know people are upset about the touchdown that came off the board, though once I saw the replay of it. Fran, come on, Fran. You knew, you sly dog. I mean, credit for the try. Full bonus points for the attempt on that one with Trevor Payne on the sideline. But you got him on the hash marks, and then you point and yell, go? And then he blames it on Jimbo Fisher. I mean, the whole thing was magical. Guy, I love it. I love it. It was fantastic. It was just fantastic. Easy to laugh about when there's a W to back up plays like that. That was, I don't know if I've ever quite seen it go down exactly like that. You're not subbing off. We're just having a chat. Quick, run down the field. You're wide open. And then a touchdown that came back earlier on the Jackson Meats offensive pass interference. Yeah, that was an OPI. That one's against the rules. That's a no-no. That's not how you can do that. But really, when we look back at today, and we look back at this season, today is the story of the season, right? Kyle McCord, fantastic. Perhaps the number one portal acquisition in all the land. Cam Ward at Miami can certainly make an argument for that. I'm sure there's a few others out there. I mean, obviously, you look at quarterbacks and various things. Caleb Downs, top safety in the country, housed a punt for Ohio State today in their big win over Indiana in the game of the day that turned out to be a blowout. That will certainly leave Indiana's playoff hopes in danger. But, man, Kyle McCord, there's not many players that have come out of the portal this year that could have had a larger effect on the trajectory of the program that they came to. And obviously, we all know Syracuse's history. We know where it was at last year. We know the history of November. We know the history of quarterback here. We know the history of quarterback injuries here. We know the history of passing quarterbacks here. We know all the history, and Kyle McCord just came in and basically spit in the face of all of that in the best of ways for Syracuse this season, as the Orange are now 8-3, and McCord has set or will set next week basically every single season passing record in Syracuse history of any remote importance as he continues now. He came into the game averaging, what, it was like 348 a game. He threw for 470 today. So, my, oh, my. And he is within about a quarter or a half, depending on pace next week, flying past 1,000 yards realistically. Could happen on the first drive next week. I think he only needs about 50 more yards or so for that. It might be 60 or 70 more for that until he gets to either way, light work on a Saturday afternoon for McCord. So he was fantastic. UConn today, this I don't get. This was a touchdown game, 31-24. It was never more than a two-score game. Connecticut, which is a running football team, UConn averages 200 yards a game on the ground. Connecticut today allowed on the strength of two long runs, but Connecticut today averaged 7.3 yards per carry. They threw the ball 48 times and ran the ball 17 times. What? That made zero sense. And then Connecticut just, like, what are you doing with your clock management there on the last drive? Taking a timeout when you needed to save it for defense, not really in any hurry. It was kind of similar to the stuff that was less self-inflicted, but stuff we were worried about on Syracuse's last drive against Boston College a couple weeks ago, but they didn't have the timeouts to begin with, so it was kind of a different situation. But watching that, it was like, what are you guys doing? You'll take it. It's like, what are you guys doing? All right, let's end an early break. We want to keep it moving a little bit so we can make sure we are ready, present, and available when Fran gets to the podium. Players as well coming up later. Phone line's open. DWITom.com hotline is available if you would like to chime in at 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. And we'll see you in the chat, of course, on Cuse Sports Talk, CuseSportsTalk.com, and the Cuse Sports Talk YouTube page. All that and more as we roll along. It's our post-game coverage brought to you by Burdick here today on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Just 470, Kev. Just 470. Hang on. Need to do a little something to the log here. Just got to spruce up a few things in the log quickly, and I will be right with y'all. One more thing. Click, 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 click. Okay. What's up, Tim? Yeah, I mean, McCord versus Cam Ward next week. Let's go. Let's go. It's like for the transfer portal championship of the world. Let's go. What's up, YouTube? How we doing on the YouTube? Yeah, Lucky. I'll agree with you on that. UConn was not the better team today, Spitwell, but yeah. Yeah, fire everybody. Fire them all. Miami had trouble with Wake for like into the third quarter. Then they resolved their trouble. Woo! boy. They resolved it just a little bit. Oh, what do we got today? Fireball, Tim. Fire everybody. How's everybody doing? How do we enjoy the game today? Is there any good games on right now? What's happening? Should I be watching a game? Should I be watching Clemson and Citadel and bumping on the CW? Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, the Hatcher thing didn't look great. He got hit from a lot of different directions. Trevor, I don't really know. Yeah, I would have sent more. San Diego Cuse, I agree. People have been saying that all season. Well, not just today, right? Yeah, that's the biggest 7-point blowout I've ever seen. I do wonder how close they came to jarring that ball out on the onside kick, too. What an onside kick. Yeah, he was tired, Kev. What an onside kick plan. Dribble it, wait for them to touch it, and everybody runs into everybody all at once. Noted ACC rivals Stanford and Cal on the TV. How many times did they target goal? All of the times, Mark. All of the times. My goodness.
Is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick BMW, and Burdick Lexus postgame show presented by One Group and Holbrook Heating and Air Conditioning. Call in now on the Tom and Ellie DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644.
All right, do that. Give us a ring, 315-437-7644. You heard the number. Brian Higgins with you post-game. Final today, the Orange win by a touchdown. It felt like they won by 50, but at the same time, it was nail-biting toward the end. The story of Syracuse football in 2024. 31-24, Syracuse knocks off UConn, moves to 8-3 here in the regular season here in Fran Brown's first year. 8-3, that means there have been 11 games. 8 of the 11 games have been one-score football games. Syracuse is 6-2 in those games, including each of the 2 last week. As I look up at the TV, speaking of Syracuse football, former Orange quarterback Justin Lampson into the end zone as Stanford scores an early touchdown in the game against Cal out on the left coast right now. All right, Fran Brown, full press conference, maybe some of the players as well, depending on how timing and all that stuff works out as we move along here. Fran's usually, I don't know, he's usually at the podium a half an hour-ish, 25 minutes, half an hour-ish. After the game ends, we're about 15 or so after the game now, so we're gonna keep apprised of that. While we hang out for Fran, time for our Orange Insight, powered by Staff Leasing. You want some insight? Hey, you want some insight? Here's some insight. If your quarterback throws for 470 yards, Goes 37 for 47 on 2 touchdowns, no picks, runs for a touchdown, completes 79% of his passes. Here's the insight. You're going to win. There's some insight for you. 470, you're going to win. Oh, he had a chance to go for 500 there. Just didn't quite click. One more completion, maybe. He needed 12 more yards to tie Ryan Nassib's single-game school record. And, you look at some of the major passing games in Syracuse history. Yardage-wise, Syracuse has lost, in fact. So it's certainly far from assumed when you throw for a lot of yards that you're going to win the game. Number 1 on the all-time list, Ryan Nassib, 42. Season opener against Northwestern his senior year in 2012. The Orange lost that game. Number 2 on the list, now number 3. It was number 2 on the list. Zach Mahoney threw for 440, and just, is this really happening performance? The 76-61 loss to Pittsburgh. So the top 2 performances on Syracuse's all-time passing list had come in losses. Now Kyle McCord wedges himself in at number 2 with 470 and a win. It becomes the 10th all-time 400-yard passing game in school history. They belong to Nassib, Mahoney. Eric Dungy has 3. Andrew Robinson, of all people, has 2. Marvin Graves and Troy Nunes have the others on the list. Andrew Robinson's one came in a win, one came in a loss. Dungy's all came in W's, I do believe. Nunes's was in a W, the triple overtime game against Virginia Tech. I'm just going to, without looking it up, assume Marvin Graves versus Rutgers in 1992. That came in a win. I feel pretty good about that coming in a win. So most of these have come in W's. Looks like 7 of the 10 now 400-yard passing games in school history have been in wins for Syracuse, as McCord into number 2 on that all-time list. And we'll see. Well, we'll see if, can we get the shootout? Can we get the top 2 quarterbacks in the ACC gunslinging transfer portal shootout next week in the Dome? I think it's possible. I think it is possible. It may be likely with Cam Ward and Kyle McCord next week in the Dome. So Kyle McCord, record-breaking, about to be record-breaking all of the numbers. Next week he'll get to 4,000 yards. Next week he will set the Syracuse single-season passing touchdown record with just one more throw. And that is our Orange Insight today. Powered by Staff Leasing. Let Staff Leasing handle the heavy lifting when it comes to HR and payroll so you can concentrate on scoring big in your industry. Visit staffleasinghr.com to learn more about how they can help your business stay in the game. And shout out to this. This is the first time in school history this has happened. 3 100 yards receivers, led by a career day for Darrell Gill. 9 catches, $177. Didn't score a touchdown, but he knew it was going to be his day when on the first play from scrimmage, he went 53. And then on the second play, it was Aronde Gadsden going 22 for a touchdown. Aronde finished with 11 grabs and $103 to score, and another big day for Jackson Meeks, 7 catches for 110. You worry about Trevor Pena, 2 catches, 7 yards, left the game in the second half with some kind of injury. Not entirely certain what was going on there with Trevor, so we'll see what the deal is with him going forward. Umari Hatcher would clearly have been passed on the wide receiver depth chart by Gill, then gets injured on the final onside kick of the game. So that was not ideal to see throughout. But the receiving numbers today, spectacular, up and down the board. It was both the first triple 100-yard receiving game in the country this year and the first in Syracuse history. Things like that happens when your quarterback throws for 470, as McCord did today. All right, let's get into break. When we come back, we're just going to keep it here for a while. We're going to keep it here until we get Fran. Maybe we'll hear from Kyle and some players. We're going to hang loose when we get back. Phone lines open, our DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644. Hang with us in our Burdick postgame show with all of that coming up next here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Because I was just feeling it, T-Takes, that's why. And it'll probably be dark before the end of the postgame show. I wouldn't say the timeout call is petty. I mean, you call timeouts when you have them. See if they screw up. Like the onside kick, I mean, it was, kind of a dangerous way to do it. But, Bush League, I mean, it's a one. But after that type of injury to call, it's still a game. It's a one-score game, Paulie. Like, you don't stop playing because somebody got hurt. It's not like, I mean, it wasn't. It was a normally football injury, right? Like, it's a one-score game. What if Syracuse had fumbled or something and you hadn't called timeout? Yeah, it was good that Meeks came back in, Dan. That was a good sign. I'm not sure what happened to Pena. There was the one play he got a little bit. It was hard to tell what was wrong with him. Yeah, Napier saved his job the last 2 weeks. That's for sure. Hatcher was like the first guy to touch it, and then he got like helmet to helmeted, hit by 7 guys, and it looked like he hurt his knee or something. He was not putting any weight on his right leg. He got hit from so many different angles. It's like I don't even know what was the worst part of it all. You think it was ribs? Yeah, could have been. Hand? Yeah, it was hard to tell on TV. Yeah, the Hatcher injury, Hatcher's did not look good. He got smushed in so many directions. Was that what it looked like, Echoplex, a rib from your view? I'll take your word for it. On TV, we never really got a look at anything. All right, we have rib viewers confirming each other. Okay, double sourced. What's worse, place kicking or free throw percentage? Oh, boy, Michael. Oof. Oh, yes. Yes, that's what's worse. Yeah, Jackson had been looking good. Not so much. Those 2 kicks were, I realized the second one was 52 yards, but yikes.
CuseSportsTalk.com. This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick BMW, and Burdick Lexus postgame show presented by One Group and Holbrook Heating and Air Conditioning. Call in now on the Tom and Ellie DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644.
All right, you hear the number. Brian Higgins with you. Orange win today, knocking off UConn 31-24. 8-3 now here. Time to sneak in a call, perhaps? Perhaps? No time to sneak in a call. Fran Brown. Fran Brown's presser right now. Here we go.
Play all the way through the fourth quarter, and I knew it would be a fourth quarter game, so it's just what we talked about the entire week, and we didn't take it lightly, and I'm happy that we didn't, because if we would have took it lightly at all, I would not be sitting here getting ready to get washed. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good deal.
Questions? Chris and then Dan.
Fran, Kyle obviously set the single season passing yards mark for Syracuse. Just how rewarding has it been for you to be like part of his season?
I'm very thankful for him, his family, just the way that he carries himself every day. Happy to be around a quarterback because now I have I got a standard of what the quarterback needs to look like being here. Not necessarily statistically and all those things because that's hard, but just in reference to how you prep, game preparation, how to prepare. I think he eliminates the process of not doing well because he prepares himself so much. And I'm just very thankful for him. Thankful for our friendship, honestly. We have a good friendship. We actually sit down and talk every Tuesday for about an hour almost. Just more about life and things of that nature. And then we kind of go into football towards the end of it. But he's a fine young man, and I'm very thankful that he got to be a part of my family and I'm a part of his.
Dan, then Mario back.
Coach, congrats on the win.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, when you look at, to go a little bit deeper into Kyle McCord as the man, not just the football player, what you saw in him in the transfer portal that has come through and he's really lived by, and then secondly, what you can say to the receivers, 3 guys that got over 100 yards in this game.
This is who he's been since he was younger. I thought his family did an amazing job of just making sure he's always got the best education. So if you looked at where he went to elementary school, middle school, then he went to high school, they picked education first. And then they picked their faith because he was always in private schools to make sure he followed their faith. And then just him going to school. He's always had a high standard for himself. So me having the opportunity of being able to get him because I knew him and having the opportunity of him coming to play for me, I thought it was a big deal. I was more so worried about how good he was and was I going to be a good enough coach to coach the kid, make sure that I could relate to him the right way and do those things because I knew he was a good football player. Not that I'm afraid to coach any players. I've coached a lot of guys, went first round, things of that nature, but I just knew who he was and I understood who he was, and I just wanted to make sure that we would fit, because a lot of times coaches don't fit with players. So I was just wanted to make sure that we fit. That was something that I was worried about a little bit. Just us being able to fit and gel together and being able to communicate with each other and just being able to talk to each other about anything. It meant a lot because the quarterback is number 2 in the organization. So it was important that fit for us.
That's just what you can say about those receivers that got to 100 yards.
They do that all week. Except when they go against us, we be talking trash to them. But they do that all week. I'm really thankful and happy for Gil. He's came a long way and he's been doing, you've seen little spurts of it all year. So today, he had a chance of, I think he had like 170 some yards. Meeks had 100 some yards, and I was busting OG chops in there. I said, "Oh, you only had 100 some yards again. That's just what you do." But they all had over 100 yards, which is good. Kyle's done that several times. So, it shows you that our offense, though, and what Jeff Nixon does is gives us an opportunity to spread it around where everybody have a chance to, touch the ball.
I know your football team has over 100 players, but coming into the year, you had guys like Aronde, Marlo Wax, Justin Barron that had decisions to make to come back or leave this program. And, Marlo said this week that he wanted to stay here because he wanted to leave a winner.
Yeah.
So how satisfying is that these guys stayed here and you have 8 wins on the season for just the 3rd time since 2000?
I'm very happy for them. I told them that this game was the biggest game of the year, because this helped show that we're building a program again. And it shows that they did it. Like, that goes down with them for the rest of their lives. Like, those guys had an opportunity of building a program. So it meant a lot. I think last year, Donovan McNabb was here. We went back and checked it. It was 8-4. No disrespect to any other quarterback, but just looking at Coach McNabb, and I knew, okay, we got to be able to go above that because, McNabb came, talked to us, and he told us he wanted us to be better than it was when he was here, and he put some standards out there for us, him and Keith Bullock, of what they were looking for, what we was at. So, we had... they told us what we had to do. So, being able to push that way. So it means a lot that these guys are the guys that stayed, that trusted in myself, that trusted in our administration. It was a lot of trust that had to go all ways. And I think trust is earned. So everybody keeps doing what they say they're going to do. And then you end up being 8-3 right now, getting ready to go and play against Miami, which is a good game. Coach Saban, I'm going to need you to talk to those people at game day and have them come. Des, me and you are cool. We know everybody, so I need you guys to push for y'all guys to come and be here for the Syracuse and Miami game. It will be no better place to be next week, you know. So I can't wait till those guys hopefully accept the challenge to doing that. Thanks. It's a good question that you asked me.
Maddie, then Cooper.
Coach, over here in the back. Davian Kerr had another great game. He had 7 total tackles today. I saw you coaching him almost on the sidelines, on the Syracuse sidelines. What have you kind of seen from him, and maybe what were you telling him? I saw you kind of say, like, breathe, settle down.
Yeah, it was just telling him relax. It's like, no, this is football. They gonna get something. They on scholarship too. That kid can play ball. Like, you'll be fine. And I only got mad at him one play. He looked in the backfield, and that wasn't his job. His job was to stare at the tight end, and they ended up catching a touchdown pass. But outside of that, those passes they called, they went back and forth both ways. It's part of the game. Just lock in. But I coach him pretty hard, just telling him things that we want to get done and relax. I could see him getting frustrated, so I would curse him out. Then I would say, all right, come here. You know, just make sure you keep going back and forth so that way he knows. But he's competitive. We brought him here in the summer. He was going to prep school. He was a wide receiver in camp. We said, no, don't come. Don't go to prep school. Stay here. Leave your twin. Come here with us for a semester. We'll bring him next semester. If I'm able to even talk about his brother, I'm sorry. But then he comes here as a safety and then plays safety the entire time he's been here. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks ago, I moved him to corner because of injury and things. And I just liked his movement the whole time. He's one of the faster guys on the team. He ran a 4.51 on the laser. So I was just like, oh, this kid, I'm going to start him next week. All the coaches thought I was playing. I was like, no, he's going to start. And he's just been going in, and he's tough, man. His mom and dad did an amazing job. Comes from a tough family. So, I can't wait to see him grow. Can't wait to see him play next week, to be honest.
Cooper, then Christian.
Coach, just what have you seen from Daryl Gill's development and journey throughout the season that led to him having such a big day today?
He just listens to Coach Ross. I think Coach Douglas does a good job with those guys. He understands the offense, so whatever Coach Nixon calls, he's able to go to any position. He can play X, he can play slot, and he can also play Z, so that helps him a lot. He's just a tough kid. I mean, if you meet his mom, then you understand why he's going to continue to persevere and keep pushing and growing. But he comes from a good family, and he's a tough kid, and I'm very thankful for him. But he just listens. He does everything. He's never on lists. Name isn't on late being to class, not making his weight, not doing all the things that are required that don't require talent. He does them. So he gets an A in that, which is the reason why when it's time for football, he's able to excel in football.
Christian, then Kay.
Coach, you mentioned Davian Kerr, and he's one of a number of players who is a little bit lower on the depth chart at the beginning of the season. How impressed are you now, later into the season, of the depth that's showing up and seeing the next man mentality and some of the other players on your team?
That's what November's about. We got our own little saying about November that we read every day. A different guy read a different paragraph, but it's about being developed in November. You got to be detailed and developed. Because at any point, somebody's going to have to step up into a position to help the team. So it's important that coaches and players are able to adapt. We go through that and we talk about CCT and DART, but that's just our mindset in November. It's a November mindset that becomes contagious when you continue to think about it and talk about that. It's something that we look forward to just playing in November because it's been stated by you guys that we wasn't going to have a good November and things like that. So I listen to all the things. I don't read it, but I have people that bring it to me. So when you guys say that we may not have a good November, it bothers me. So then we wanted to make sure we have a good November, and then we're going to remember who said that. So you can't be all cheering next time that we do have a good November. Right now, what's our record in November?
2-2 right now.
We're not 2-2. We're 3-1. See, you might be one of those guys. That's how I'm talking about right there. We're 3-1 in November. Yeah, there we go.
Kay, then Ashley.
Coach, it was senior night, being able to honor some of those guys who may return or who may be going on to further things in life. How has this senior class contributed to the younger class going forward, and what are you excited to see and how they, made their mark on these younger guys?
Well, they're their big brothers, and we said a family forever. We have something called Syracuse-60, which we made it in the beginning of the year where guys don't ever have to fear when football is done. And that's what's extremely important. And then what goes on in the world, when football's done, a lot of guys get depressed and go into different things. So within 60 days, because of all the alum, everybody all over the world, and so many people that got involved that are Syracuse alum, that are involved, that we send resumes out. Our guys know and tell us what region they want to work in, what's their major. So a lot of guys already got jobs. So they kind of like can just go play and go be free. because of they understand and know, like I told them, none of my players will ever graduate and in August not have a job or be on a team. If they do, then I'm not a real coach. I didn't finish my job to make sure that they were successful because I've been there. My wife's been there with me. When the season's done and you don't get that call yet, that August it's painful. It's dreadful. It's you have no idea who you are, especially when guys like myself. I made football, I thought it was my identity. So I'm teaching them that this is not your identity. This is just what you play. It's things there. But no matter what, when you're passionate about the game and you love the game, it's tough when it's taken away. So I think that if we can compensate that with your degree, a job, a meaningful job that you went to school with, and you can make real money and you don't have to go back home, you feel like, okay, I'm ready for the world. Because the work we do, we're going to dominate when it's time to get in the world. It's just about the mindset.
Ashley, then Chris.
Coach, kind of a two-part question for you here. We saw Trevor Pena on the sidelines after the game. Just wondering if you have an update on his status. And then also, we saw you have a long embrace with the UConn head coach after the game. Just what was that conversation like?
Well, Trevor Pena, they didn't tell me that. It's just different things that's going on. He was straight. Probably could have finished. Probably not. I'm not sure. I'll find out from Brandon afterwards. But that's Jim Moore, coaching the NFL, all this stuff. I was just honored to meet him. It's different guys and he's always been a cool dude for me being younger, watching football and seeing him and his pops and things like that. And I wanted to introduce him to my son, let my son get the opportunity to meet a guy with just a great track record of being a good person. I thought he was going to be a lot taller, though. I was like, dang, he wasn't as tall as I thought. Because he didn't, in the NFL, a lot of those guys don't want to come see you before the game. They wait till afterwards. And so I was like, before the game, I was like, dang, where are you at? I wanted to meet him. Like, he was a dude that I wanted to have an opportunity to meet, but he didn't come over before the game. But after the game, I was thankful that I got a chance to meet him and just wanted to tell him that I enjoy watching his team. I enjoyed watching him when I was younger and him coaching the NFL and his father. And then just I wanted him to meet my son. So it was cool for our family,
Last few for coach. We'll start with Chris. Frank Cinco didn't play. Was that injury related, and you expect him back next week?
Yeah, he should be back. He was running and all before the game a little bit, jogging and stuff yesterday and all like that. But it was just a matter of you got to do what's best for the kid. It's not always what's best for him because it was up to me, everybody playing. But we had to do what was best for the kid.
Do you know anything about Mari at this point?
Say that again? Mari, his leg was hurt. Could be a sprained MCL or something like that. I'm not sure. His leg was hurt. It seemed like that when he was coming off. But it seemed okay.
Last two, we'll start with Dave.
Yeah, Coach, on the Trevor touchdown that got taken away, what was the explanation that you got there?
I forget. Oh, we did something wrong. I think Meeks did something wrong. I'm not sure. I forget. They were right. They were right about when they called that one. Yeah, they were right about that.
And then last question, we're going to finish right on the aisle here in the second to last row.
Hey, Coach, great win. Any status on Jayani Reed, the center? We saw him going into locker room during, I believe, the first half, and he came off the field limping in the second half. He's
had a lingering ankle injury, and he's just constantly pushing for the team. But we think he'll be back. We just want to make sure go get checked out and go through all that. But he's been fighting for us. He's a guy who, if we would have set him out a few weeks ago, if he would have just set out, he probably would have been okay by now, maybe, but maybe not. But he's just refused to sit out. He's a tough kid, and just wanted to go. Let me ask you a question. Have you bought your shirt yet? Yeah, have you bought your Winners Get Wild shirt yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, but y'all said y'all was getting one. If they win against Cal, then we'll probably get it. I'm gonna have to get a shirt. And then we won, and all y'all still ain't get a shirt. So y'all don't tell the truth. That's why I like telling the truth. See y'all later. All right.
Okay, Fran. Yeah, here's the truth. I ain't paying $35 for it. It's a nice shirt, though. I like it. I'm just, you want the truth? That's the truth. I'm not paying $35 for that shirt plus $10 shipping. I'm not going $48 for a tee. Though, congrats, you do get a shower. Oh man, I like a Fran Brown press conference. They're fun. Fran, he's being intentionally cagey on these questions about the play where he was doing the illegal things on the sideline. Fran, he wasn't talking about the one with Jackson Meeks. He was talking about the one where you intentionally brought Trevor Pena to the sideline, were pretending to have a conversation with him, and then told him to run down the field wide open. Oh man, come on, Fred. You know what you did there. Don't BS it. You know what we did there. All right, let's get back to the press conference room. Let's hear what our guy Kyle McCord's got to say about life after throwing for a career high 470.
really know exactly what the whole situation was going to be like, and then to come here and have the year that I've had so far, I think that says a lot about the coaches and the teammates around me. And then obviously a lot of great quarterbacks have played here, so to be the one that holds that record now, it's pretty sweet.
Schaefer from Newshouse. So today you broke Ryan Nassib's passing yard record. Was that something you envisioned before transferring here? Was that one of your goals that you had in mind?
I wouldn't say it was necessarily like the main goal, but it was funny. Like right before the season, one of our coaches was talking to me and LeQuint, and they were like, "You two got to break the record this year," and I had no idea what it was. So I looked at it, but obviously, you have no idea how the year is going to go. But looking back on it now, it is pretty cool to have that record, like I was just saying.
Kyle, was Daryl Gill just a matchup that you guys really liked today because you went to him early? And what have you seen from him that sort of led to a breakout performance today? Yeah, I think, kind of similar to, the messages in weeks prior, you never really know who's going to have a big game. And I think obviously from the first play, having that huge completion kind of set the tempo for the rest of the game, that we were going to be aggressive. And then, he's done a great job when he's gotten in the game in the past. Obviously, his volume isn't high as the other guys. And then in practice, too, he just practices his butt off, going 110% every single rep. And so it gives me confidence when he's in the game and I throw his way that he's going to come down with it.
Yeah.
Kyle, you made the decision to come here in the transfer portal. The team is 8-3. You got a shot at getting your 9th win next week. You're going to a bowl game. You've been able to get out to a ton of different receivers, running backs, and utilize this offense in a lot of ways. Hindsight 2020, your thoughts about coming to Syracuse where you're sitting right now?
It was the best decision that I've ever made in my life. I think the people that I've met here and the relationships that I've created, I think will last a lifetime. That's, going to go a lot further than, wins, losses, records, all that will go. And then on top of that, I think, I just grew as a player and a person here more than I could have imagined. And so it's exactly what Coach Fran told me it was going to be. But, I guess 10, 11 months later to see it all play out, just like you said, it was, looking back on it, was a great decision to come here.
Obviously, it's a week out from the big Miami game, but you and Cam Ward entered today 1 and 2 in the country in passing yards. You have surpassed it with your big game today. Does that mean anything to you? Obviously, Miami's a great opponent, but you versus Ward in the Dome next week.
I think it's what the people want to see. And I think that when I first made the decision to come here, people always talked, how it was a quarterback conference. And then now to have the two leading guys in yards nationally going head to head and a week 12 game that holds a lot of weight. It's kind of exactly how you would draw it up ideally. So obviously he's a great player and they're a great team. So we're going to have to get back to work tomorrow and, start getting ready for that one on Saturday.
With Trevor on the sideline with the fake timeout. How do you guys practice that in practice? And any idea where that might have been gotten from?
Yeah, so Ole Miss scored on it against Kentucky, I think. I think Ole Miss scored on it against Kentucky. I don't know, one of those teams. But they scored on it, so we took it from them, and then we've practiced it a bunch. We probably had it in for about a month, and then I thought that was the perfect time to call it. And then they said that, what did he tell me? He said it was, I forget the exact rule that he said. But yeah, it is what it is. I think, Treb had a few unlucky breaks today with the penalties. Really could have had 3 touchdowns, but it's football.
Do you know Cam Ward at all?
No, I've never met him, no.
Your friend was up here making his pitch to ESPN GameDay that they should be here next week. How much does that matter to you guys, and how much fun would that be?
Yeah, I think if I'm correct, I don't think it's ever come to Syracuse before. To have that happen would be, pretty sweet. Obviously, there's, going to be a lot of big games around the country, given that it's the last week of the season. But I think that it'll be a great game here next week, and I think that would be pretty cool. Obviously, I've played in some of those games where game days there, and it's just a different vibe, throughout the week, and then Saturday morning the fans are up and at it early, so it would be pretty cool to see that, and I would love for that to happen.
We'll take 2 more for Kyle. We'll start with Maddie and finish right here in the fourth round.
Kyle, over here in the back. Coach just talked about the month of November. We talked about it previously, just how this team in previous years have struggled. You guys are now 3-1 in November. What have you seen from this team during this last month of the regular season that has kind of allowed you guys to have so much success?
Yeah, I think that the guys have been challenged and they've stepped up to the call. And I think that goes from top down. You know, guys who have been in, that starting role have been playing their best football and took in their game to a next level. And I think on top of that, young guys like Davian Kerr, who stepped up last week, given that role. And then like Gil today, like I said, didn't have the volume that the other guys had, but a few guys go down, he steps up, has a big day. I think guys are really stepping up to the plate when their number's called, and I think that's given the team a big boost, especially late in these last few games.
Last question for Kyle right back. We talked a lot about, or some of your teammates have talked about and reposted a graphic that came out about the contested catches. Each of the three leading contested catch leaders in the country all play for Syracuse. I know we've talked a lot about your first season here, what it's been like adjusting, but what can you say about the depth of the group that you've had to throw the ball to this season and kind of the chemistry that you've built up with them throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think today was kind of a perfect example of that, having three guys go over 100 yards. And then obviously you had Trev in the mix, who's been a big-time player all year. And I mean, really, you go down the line, and I feel like 6 or 7 guys that are legit power 4 starters that we have on our team. And I think that they all feed off each other. I think they, seeing one guy do good motivates the other guy to do good. And so it's been a lot of fun. And, Coach Ross, Douglas, the receiver coach, has done a great job of getting those guys ready. And they love playing for him. So it's been a lot of fun playing quarterback for them because obviously they get open, they make plays, as you guys saw today.
Thanks. We'll let Kyle go, and then we'll get OG and Gil out here.
All right, Kyle McCord there, coming off career-high 470 passing yards today. Our post-game press conference coverage presented by William Mattar. Hurt in the car. Call William Mattar at 444-4444. A couple of notes. Kyle and Freddie, they need to sync up their stories a little bit on that fake timeout play. That I just don't know what was happening that they've been practicing for months and months. Oh man, that's one thing. Also, just some stat book keeping. Top 2 passers in the country next week with McCord and Cam Ward. McCord right now is at 3,946 yards. He's going over 4,000 in the first quarter next week, I'd say. And first touchdown next week that he throws will set the Syracuse single season school record. If he gets 4 next week, just saying, if he gets 4, he'll be up to 30. He's sitting on 26 right now. Looks like Rondé Gatson and Daryl Gill are on their way up to the podium. Are they there? Or are they there yet? Are they making their way? OG and Gill. OG just ho hum normal day. Daryl Gill had a career day. Final numbers for Gill: 9 catches, $177. Just out of the end zone a couple times. Rondé Gatson 11 for 103 and a touchdown. Are they there? Are they there? Not quite yet. Making their way? Not quite yet. Well, we'll wait for them to pop on up there. But man, and the game day talk, I'd say realistically, I mean, they got to look at it realistically, unless there's an upset. They're going to College Station next week for the first meeting between Texas and Texas A&M since Texas A&M went to the ACC. Texas is third ranked in the country, 9-1, 5-1 in the league. They're up 7-0 on Kentucky right now. Texas A&M is 15th in the country. They're 8-2, 5-1 in the league. They're at Auburn tonight. If they both win, I believe that game is going to be for a spot in the SEC title game next week. So as much as we'd like to see College Game Day here in Syracuse, realistically, it is probably heading to College Station next week. But I could make the argument that Syracuse and Miami would be number 2 on that list. Miami needs to win the game to make the ACC championship. Ohio State and Michigan doesn't have the normal stakes on it. Auburn, Alabama doesn't have the normal stakes on it because Michigan and Auburn are both out of the mix. No real West Coast game worth chatting about next week. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But my guess is College Station for the first Texas A&M blood feud in, what is it, closing on 15 years will be where game day is at next week. Do we have we got the wideouts of the podium? Where are they? Are they coming? Not coming? Coming? Not coming? Not yet? No? All right. Well, maybe we'll get it in during the break, and a great reason to get to Cuse Sports Talk and Cuse Sport. Oh, they're there now. Paul is nodding at me that they're there now. All right, let's hear what two of Syracuse's 3 100-yard wideouts have to say after today's victory against the UConn Huskies.
Come back for another year or leave after the end of this year.
Have you had a process you're doing after the season, or have you made a decision about the bowl game and things of that nature?
I'll have to see once the season's over.
Put Cooper back in charge.
Daryl, late in the first half on that 3rd and 15, you guys had in the red zone. Just can you take me through that play where Kyle rolled right and hit you on a comeback route, near the sideline? Just how does that kind of describe, your connection with Kyle on such a makeshift play like that?
It's really designed to just be able to, whenever he's rolling out, scramble drill, whether it is, that's all it is. Find an area where he can get you the ball, because Kyle's going to get you the ball no matter what. And it's just all based on if you're going to catch it or not, really. So that's how good of a quarterback he is.
We're going to take 2 more for these guys, go 8 and then finish with the guys.
Obviously, big play to start the game. How do you think that kind of set the tone for a team that's kind of struggled to get going early on the past few weeks?
Just coming out with energy, staying locked in, staying on that high wave that we had when we first came out. That's really what set the tone for the whole game. So I think if we do that more, I think it'll be more straight up.
Daryl, over the course of the season, you've kind of inched your way up the depth chart, started to get more reps. How's your connection with Kyle grown over this time, and what do you attribute that to?
Just spending time with him, watching film, being outside of football. He's a really good friend. He's a really good jokester. So if you ever get to see Kyle on a personal level, it's really funny. But he's a really good guy. So you just got to lock in on him off the field, and then it'll come on the field. Just got to take time.
Thanks, guys.
Syracuse's 3 100-yard receivers today. All right, let's get a break. Our DWITom.com hotline will be open when we come back at 315-437-7644 as we head toward the last segment of our Burdick postgame show here today. Lots coming out of that postgame press conference there. Fran Brown slinging them shirts. My goodness, the guilt trip. Yikes. Buy one if you'd like it. They look nice. All profits go to Fran, not to me, though. So, yeah, sling them on your own time. But there we are. There's that. There's that entrepreneur, Fran Brown. We'll take a break. Phone lines open next. Orange are 8-3. Massive game in the Dome next week, Houston, Miami. Looking forward to that one. Miami's first trip to the Dome in 22 years. And it's a fair fight coming up next week. Really excited about this game. All right, final break here. Chance to get calls in after this. 315-437-7644. Back after this for the remainder of our post-game coverage here at Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. You know it, Ryan. 11 o'clock Tuesday, final scheduled Kyle McCord show. Yeah, give me a cut, Fred. We'll start slinging that merch. Oh, man. Let me in on it. I can get behind slinging Fran Brown merch. Can we get a little slice of that pie? Yeah, Fran's breaking out new rules every week. Yeah. Okay. Well, but when it's the last week of the season and it's clearly the biggest game in the country. Oh, well, that's good for him. Okay. Well, it's great that he's allowed to be wrong. It's a fact, aren't you, Johanna? Kyle's been great. On the field, off the field, the whole deal. But yeah, we got Kyle McCord show Tuesday. Fran Brown show will also be Tuesday this week because of Thanksgiving. So we got a busy Tuesday coming up. Potentially more stuff would happen before the bowl game with either or both, but nothing officially scheduled as of the moment. So last scheduled McCord and Fran shows of the season, Tuesday. He did it. That's true, Ryan. Well, yes, I'm glad you bring that up. Remind me again on Tuesday. Ask that in the Fran Brown show. Kyle will get a kick out of that. He liked that the last time we talked about it. Because I will forget by Tuesday. That's true. Cuse is in the house. He's not a vertical threat. It's boring. Yeah, if Kyle was throwing down 360 windmill dunks, then he'd be exciting. I said, yes, KC Sports Nerd, they have been to A&M already, but there's not like a rule against it. Like, as much as I'd love them to come here, like if Texas and Texas A&M both win today, that's clearly the biggest game next week. Like it's playoff stakes for both teams involved. They try to, but when it's clearly the game to go to, like they're not going to avoid going to the biggest game in the last week of the regular season just because they happen to go there 2 months earlier. Like they have gone to places twice in a season before. Like, it's not a rule. It's a TV show. Did he, Mark? That stinks. They're trying to make the best TV show. Like, if they put Game Day in College Station for the first Texas A&M game since 2011, it's going to be pandemonium down there. Yeah, I need a little healing this week, Orange Johanna. That's for sure. Oh, yes, Kev. Well, you're not watching Giants Bucks tomorrow?
This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick BMW, and Burdick Lexus postgame show presented by One Group and Holbrook Heating and Air Conditioning. Call in now on the Tom and Ellie DWITom.com hotline, 315-437-7644.
All right, your last chance to hop on with us here today. You're at the number 315-437-7644 and DWITom.com hotline. Man, those Fran Brown press conferences, especially after he wins and is ready to get washed, and he's ready to sling some T-shirts at you. There's a lot going on. Fran, come on, you knew exactly what was going on the. You knew why you got the flag on that play. I'm glad he kept up the ruse and was yelling at the refs for 10 minutes. He carried that's like carrying out the play action fake. You know how like Brett Favre back in the day, he'd always do that, like the handoff, and he'd keep the rollout and do like a fake jump pass. Like he carried on. God bless him. Fran always seems to like give up the ghost on those things like a few days later. I bet he'll be joking about it by Tuesday. So that was fun. That was fun. Once I saw the replay of that, I'm like, oh yeah, that yeah. That's the rule. That's the rule. Easy to laugh about, though, after a win as Syracuse knocks off UConn today by the final score of 31-24. Let's look into improving the team from Wadham's Enterprises, and we improve our way into the final game of the regular season that's going to hit in a different way than the last game of November is hit in a long time, right? Like, there have been some times where it's meant bowl eligible or not. There have been some meaningful games, but here comes Miami. Their first trip to the Dome since Syracuse joined the ACC. Their first trip to the Dome since 2002. They're coming to the Dome in a must-win situation. A, they must win to make the ACC title game. B, because of that, they must win to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Syracuse, a chance to beat Miami. That's good to begin with. Syracuse, a chance to get a 9th regular season win for just the 3rd time this century. That's all good. Top 2 passing quarterbacks in the country right now in Kyle McCord and Cam Ward. Kyle passed Cam today. They've been jockeying back and forth all season. Imagine both will go over 4,000 yards for the season next week. Man, oh man, improving the team. It's talking about you're in chance to improve yourself to an excellent bowl game. A lot of stuff on the line. Cuse in Miami next week. 3:30 kick time. ESPN, the television. Big game feel. Pre-game coverage and all that starting at 12:30 next week. My last trip out to Shaughnessy's this season. Whew! It was packed at Shaughnessy's this morning. My goodness, standing room only. That is improving the team from Wadham's Enterprises. Wadham's improving their team. They have home daily CDLA driving positions available for experienced drivers and also offers CDLA training at no cost with a job waiting upon completion. Call recruiting today, 800-334-1314. That's 800-334-1314. All right, let's get a call in before we call it quits today. Still time if you'd like to chime in at 315-437-7644. We've got Sam from Pittsburgh who's in Syracuse right now. What's up, Sam?
Brian, I love calling you from the Steel City, but I love calling you better when I'm here in the Cuse in the 315. So great job. Great game today. They did what they had to do, took care of business. I laughed out loud at the Fran Brown substitution chicanery, but outside of that, I thought the officiating was pretty one-sided. I wasn't crazy about it, but team played well, band played well, and we will be back next week for Miami. Cannot wait, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving.
To you as well, Sam. Sam, a marching band dad. Thank you as always calling in, Sam. And, getting you ready for Cuse in Miami last week. Oh, man, Fred. The sideline thing, that's just – it's one of those things if you lose it's not quite as funny. But when you win – it's funny. And the fact that he's just flat denying it. And by denying it, it's like total misdirection. What are you talking about? The what? Over there? Who, me? No, I didn't. Oh, there? Oh, boy. Is Frank going to start charging like a T-shirt admission to get into his pressers, too? The hard sell is getting aggressive. Aggressive for a $35 tee. All right, man. You talk about being in a new era, right? A whole new era of college football in the world. You got your head coach slinging T-shirts, winning games, always recruiting. You're 8-3, man. It's all good. It's fun here. It used to be like, well, got to get in this last game. It's Thanksgiving. You just kind of want the season to be over. And it's just like, well, here's this game. Now it's like, here is this game. Oh, this is why people get excited about football on Thanksgiving weekend. Get it. Good point by L.A. Orange. Should I start slinging shirts? Do I need my own merch? Do I need competing merch? Yeah. Talk show hosts take a shower regardless of results. It doesn't quite have the same ring. The host of the 315 showers before his show every day. It doesn't. We're going to have to work on that. Showers regardless. Lathers anyway. I don't know. We'll workshop it. Anyway, another good post-game show, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. I think. Oh, wait. Another call coming in. Was about to wrap it up. There's a call coming in. The phone is ringing, people. Let's not leave before we get this last call in the air. It looks like is somebody calling in? Something has gone awry with the call screener. Well, it's coming in. We'll figure it out here in a second. Who's on the line and when they're ready to go? One last call. Oh, somebody wants to talk about Miami. Who? Let's hit the button and put him on the air. Oh. Scintillating conversation. Okay, so there's that. Call your dial tone provider. 315-437-7644. All right, everybody, that'll do it here today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. Tommy DeVito Day tomorrow. There is that. Monday, normal-ish schedule. We'll all be here. We'll have Orange Nation at noon. Fran Brown press conference within that at 1. No Newhouse afternoon this week. Newhouse off for Thanksgiving break. The students are at home. Cody will be here at 3. I'll be here at 4, though a brief appearance. Women's basketball is down in Destin, Florida for a tournament. They tip off at 5 tomorrow night. So I'm taking 2 hours, and we're going to cram it in. We're going to have 45 minutes of fun tomorrow or Monday. We'll get Adam Terry in before we turn things over to Tim Leonard at 4:45 for Orange pregame for Women's Hoops on Monday. Kyle McCord show, last scheduled one of the season, Tuesday morning at 11, exclusively only live, Cuse Sports Talk, CuseSportsTalk.com, and the Cuse Sports Talk YouTube page. With that, that'll bring to an end our post-game coverage today. Final score again, Syracuse 31, UConn 24. The Orange are 8-3. The head coach is slinging T-shirts. It's a good time to be hanging in the 315. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll talk again on Monday right here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Don't miss the